Hello, I'm King Link, and it's time for the Humble Monthly Bundle review for July 2019. This month we had two early unlocks. We've seen Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, which I actually reviewed last year and even gave it one of my end of year awards, and Moonlighter, which I've just released a review of. So, with that said, I'm going to be talking about what I like and don't like about each game, and we'll be looking at these games as $12 titles instead of the full price. So we'll start with Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, and honestly, this is one of my favorite games. It's just really good in almost every way. It does stuff with sound that I've never heard before in a game. It tackles interesting issues of mental health, which, yes, it did get a lot of publicity for that, but it also does it so very well. Ninja Theory really excelled at making Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice an almost masterpiece, and it's so very close. The story here is intense, and you'll instantly want to know more at every point in this game about these characters. The style of storytelling is really well done, and Senua feels like a great character. Not an avatar for the player, but someone that you actually connect with. You don't want to see her hurt. You see her in pain in a few scenes, and you feel for her. She feels like a real person in the game who's going through actual struggles, and man, it's just done so well. Now, I do want to talk about the audio system, which is one of the reasons I gave it an award last year, and it's an amazing system. You really need to experience this properly. I would definitely recommend grabbing a set of headphones if you don't have a 5.1 surround sound system, because you will not be disappointed with this experience. It's just amazing to listen to, and the entire game sounds unbelievable. Now, while I really do love Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, I'd gush over it for another hour if I could. I got the game for free as a review copy, small disclosure there, but the fact is, well, there's a small issue I have with this game. Hellblade doesn't have the best combat. It's a great combat system at the beginning of the game, but it never really takes another step. There's like one additional move that it gives you, and that's it. There's a handful of enemy types, you see almost all of them in the first half of the game, and the game is relatively easy in my opinion. There's an adaptive difficulty, but I don't know how high I went. It just wasn't very challenging most of the time. There's also only a couple of bosses as well, and the game doesn't really change much. It's just a small complaint. Does that mean Hellblade itself is weak? Of course not. Like I said, this is absolutely one of my favorite games. It's a masterpiece in every other area. The storytelling, the environment, the experience is all top-notch, and it's excellent. It's just a step short of perfection in my mind, and I'm sad because I'm a huge fan of this game. But I really wish that combat was just a touch deeper or changed a little more. That's all I'm saying. Now, I gave this game a 4.5 out of 5, and it deserved every point of that at full price. I was thrilled to have played it, and I wanted to play more just to capture footage here. It's such a good game, and for 12 bucks, just get it. Honestly, it's so good, I can easily recommend it on its own. Now, with that said though, let's look at Moonlighter. I'm going to be honest, Moonlighter is also a really great game. I'm a huge fan of Moonlighter, and the item store genre, however we want to call it, is an interesting motif for a game, and Moonlighter does well with it. Let's start with the dungeon this time around, as our main character Will is addicted to the dungeon. He just has this desire to explore for some reason, as he's also the owner of an item shop, which we'll talk about in a second. And as you enter the dungeon, you basically will find yourself in a Zelda-esque, from like the NES, Super NES era, combat system with, a dodge roll, and it really has this great exploration aspect of it. It's a roguelite, so every entrance is a different experience in the dungeon. Now, there's some small things that don't change, but it's all well done. Each dungeon in the game has 3 different levels. There's the first 2 levels that end with a mini-boss, and a final level that ends with a major boss. And each exploration is great, but the point of the game, other than just beating the dungeon, is also to gather gear. If you die in the dungeon, you get kicked out, and you end up losing 75% of your inventory. Your top 5 items are safe. If you survive the dungeon or exit it using your own warp, you end up saving all your items, and you can use those items in the item shop to sell. That item shop becomes about a quarter of this game. You spend a decent amount of time playing this little mini game where you're pricing items, trying to sell it to people, amassing a fortune in gold, and then you're going to use that gold to expand the town, expand your shop, or even upgrade your armor, of course allowing you to get farther in the game. Armor, weapons, you can also enhance each item itself, and it just becomes this way to get more powerful. It's kind of the way you do the RPG leveling up. Then you go back in the dungeon, you explore more, and of course there's this nice progression in the game. Honestly, it's really well done. I think it's one of the better item shop exploration games that I've played, and I actually gave this game a 4 out of 5. I have a lot more to say about it. You can check the review at the end of this video. So, what do I think about the bundle overall? Well, I've been thinking about it, and I'm going to add a small score to the bundle. Just 3 values. Either a strong, medium, or weak recommendation. Basically, am I excited for the games? Meh. Or is this a negative bundle for some reason? And honestly, it's not based on if you own the game, it's more if you don't own them. So this month, well, these are 2 extremely good games, even great games in some ways. Either game for $12 would be a must-buy, but combined with even more games coming, this is a must-buy bundle for sure. If you don't own either of these games, definitely pick this up. Hellblade, like I said, is one of my favorite games, and Moonlighter is extremely good. I've spent about 30 hours playing it. So, Humble Monthly Bundle gets a strong recommendation. I really hope we're going to see more bundles like this, because this is exactly what the Humble Monthly Bundle should have been releasing all along. 1 or 2 very good games from a couple years ago that people may have missed out on, but easily worth the $12 bundle price. Now, I am going to be putting the links to both reviews on the screen. They should be up now, so you can of course check those out if you want to know more about either game. I do like both of these. And if you want to see more coverage of the Humble Monthly Bundle next month, consider subscribing. Of course, as always, like, share, and comment. Do all those YouTube things as you see fit. And until next time, I am King Link, and of course, thank you for watching.